Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would kindly ask if everyone would please turn off or silence all electronic devices. Thank you.
We are here this morning, gathered together to give kavod acharon, our last respects, to Benna Golubtchik, bracha bas Naftali. We begin the service this morning with the recitation of Psalms, reading of Tehillim, as in these difficult moments, one of our methods of solace, of comfort, is to connect back to our age-old tradition. We've gone to Tehillim, to Psalms, many a time in the course of our history, both during collective troubles and personal. We begin with Tehillim Mizmor Aleph, Psalm 1. Ashrei ha'ish, asher lo halach ba'atzat risha'im u'v'derech ha'te'im lo amad, u'v'moshav leitzim lo yashav, kim b'torat Adonai chefzo v'torato yageh yomam v'layla, v'haya ka'et shatul al palgei mayim, asher piryo yitein bito v'aleu lo yibo, v'chol asher ya'aseh yatzliach. Lo chen harisha'im kim kamotz asher tedefenu ruach, al kein lo yakumu risha'im b'mishpat v'chate'im ba'adat tzadikim, ki yodeh Adonai derech tzadikim v'derech risha'im tovei. Happy is the one who has not followed the counsel of the wicked, nor stood in the path of the sinners, nor sat in the company of the scornful, rather that one's delight is in the Torah of the Lord, meditating God's Torah day and night. I will be like a tree planted by streams of water, that yields its fruit in season, whose leaf will not wither, and whatever that one does prospers. Continue with Psalm 15, Mizmor Tetvav. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai miyagur b'holecha miyishkon b'har kochecha. Holech tamim v'fa'al tzedek v'dover emet bilvavo. Lo ragal l'shono lo asa l're'ehu ra'a v'cherpa lo nasa krovo. Nivzeh be'inav nim'as ve'et yirei Adonai yechabed. Shpala harav lo yamir kaspo lo natan b'neshech v'shochad al naki lo lakach. Oseh ele lo yimot la'olam. A song of David. Lord, who may sojourn in your tent, who may dwell on your holy mountain. One who walks in purity, does what is righteous, and speaks the truth from the heart, who has no slander on the tongue, nor has done harm to a fellow, nor cast disgrace toward a neighbor, in whose eyes a contemptible person is repulsive, but who honors those who are in awe of the Lord, who swears truthfully even to personal hurt, and never retracts, who does not lend money on interest, nor take a bribe against the innocent. One who does these things shall never falter. In this particular psalm, thinking about one who walks in purity, does what is righteous, and speaks the truth from heart, one who does not cast disgrace upon a neighbor, and honors those who are in awe of the Lord. I hear the messages that were shared with me by family about a wonderful person, and it's my privilege to call upon Harold, Amy, and Judy to share words of memory and recollection about Benna.
The truth is, I kind of knew that Benna and I were meant to be together as early as 1968. And in fact, I was right. We've been married more than 54 years. My uncle, a distinguished rabbi and Rosh Yeshiva, actually told us as such at our engagement in 1968. He noted that my Hebrew name, Chaim, which means life in Hebrew, was a perfect fit with Benna's Hebrew name, Baracha, which means a blessing. He suggested that we were destined for a Chaim Shel Brachot, which is the plural of bracha, a life filled with blessings. I'm not sure there's a clearer definition of the word bashert. There's been a 3-foot square purple frame hanging in our home for more than 25 years. There is no picture that is being framed. There are only words. The 3 top lines in large bold letters serve as the heading. All I really need to know, I learned from Benna. In smaller letters, the subtitle reads, All I really need to know about how to live and what to do and how to be, I learned from Benna. The rest of the words are in small-sized fonts and fill every inch of the large paper. This was Benna's retirement present from her daughters and sisters-in-law. Their mission was to gather phrases that would be examples of Benna's influences. The phrases they collected ranged from Benna's powerful impact on thousands of students ranging in age from 5 to 21. Her core knowledge, her caring demeanor, and core belief that children learn differently. Her fan club acknowledged her as a great mom and grandmother. Her sweetness, her generosity, her sense of humor, her capacity to know what was right and appropriate were not ignored by those who knew her. Speaking of Devar Torah, if I may, let me share a brief thought that has troubled me a bit. Next week's Torah portion of Chukat describes the story of a para aduma, a red heifer. The rabbis have explained that this story of mysterious rituals found in the Parsha is an example of a law that we simply must accept without truly understanding its meaning or justification. Sadly, this appears to describe the incredible situation our family has been witnessing. There is no apparent reason our beloved Benna should have been struck with this awful disease called Lewy body dementia. At a minimum, she was a pure soul, devoted to her family and friends, and all around her. Yet, I believe that our only choice is to accept her fate without understanding it, but continue to remember how special she was and modeling our lives on her qualities and her deeds. In the Jewish tradition, when we refer to someone who has passed away, we add the phrase, may his or her memory be a blessing. In Benna's case, it is up to those who wish to remember her to keep her goodness alive. We do this by speaking her name. We do this by carrying on her legacy. I want to close by sharing a famous philosopher's words. His name is Dr. Seuss. He said very briefly, "Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened."
Thank you all for being here, and thank you to everyone who's joining us via live stream as well. As our father mentioned, in 1986, and yes, I am invoking the 80s, but if you're a fan of the 70s, just stay tuned. Robert Fulghum, in 1986, posited that all he ever really needed to know, he learned in kindergarten. We Golubtchiks knew then, and know now, that everything we need to know in life, we learned from Benna. This is true in both her personal life, as a devoted wife, mother, daughter, sister, daughter-in-law, sister-in-law, aunt, and grandmother, and in her professional life, where she was equally esteemed as a teacher and educator.
Our mother was born on January 2nd, 1947. She hated that birthday because 5 out of every 7 years, it meant the first day back to school after the long winter break. She grew up in Brooklyn, graduated high school at 16, went to Brooklyn College where she majored in education. Over the course of the years as a teacher, she taught kindergarten all the way through high school. Her favorite types of students were the ones who faced challenges. She earned their trust and she became an important adult figure in their lives. She kept relationships with some of her students for years after they graduated and often advised them on life decisions. Her classroom was a place where curiosity was nurtured, mistakes were welcomed as opportunities for growth, and every child felt valued and supported. She influenced hundreds of lives over the course of her career.
She taught us how to be strong, independent thinkers and how to care for others. She was humble, kind, soft-spoken, and diplomatic, but when she felt strongly about something, she made that known. She was compassionate and sensitive, and also willful and principled, strong-minded, yet unassuming. She taught me not to apologize for being myself. She taught me to see things from another perspective.
She taught me how to be patient, especially with my older sister.
When things were hard or hurtful or disappointing, she taught me, usually through a Barry Manilow song, that eventually I would make it through the rain, and somewhere down the road, I would be ready to take a chance again. Above all, she was a role model of kibud av va'em, honoring your parents, and looking after her own parents and her mother-in-law in their times of need. Benna loved her family unconditionally. My husband, Jonathan, who is joining us via the live stream from the hospital in White Plains, wishes he could be here in person because he loved my mother and respected her very deeply, commented recently that, quote, "They threw out the stereotype of mother-in-law when they created your mom. Absolutely zero of all that. She was completely embracing, down to earth, and respectful." Benna made everyone feel welcome all the time. When she talked with her grandchildren, she did so with sincere curiosity about what they were interested in at the moment. Our mother was by nature a nurturer. Of course, we all want to remember her as the vibrant, intelligent, creative, cookie-making, story-reading, game-playing mother and grandmother that she was before her illness. And the truth is, the essence of who she is never changed. When she moved into Arden Court's memory care facility, she became a caretaker for her fellow residents. When her disease caused hallucinations, she dreamed up children who needed school supplies and thought of ways to provide them. And she imagined students, sometimes fellow residents, for whom she would plan lessons.
My mom was my biggest cheerleader. Here's an example. Almost 15 years ago, I signed up to run a half marathon race and to raise funds for charity. The race was in Disneyland, beginning at 5 a.m. on a Sunday in Los Angeles. Now, most parents would donate some money to a worthy cause and wish their child good luck in the race. My mother was different. My mother not only supported me by contributing to the charity, but she also flew out to LA for the weekend, spent Shabbat with me and 20 other runners she had never met before. She even woke up with me at 3 a.m. on race day to catch a bus to leave for Disneyland in time for the 5 a.m. race start. And she waited for hours for me at mile 13, holding a sign that said, "Go Judy." That's our mom, showing up with love and support without being asked. My mom was my biggest cheerleader, literally, and in so many other ways. All we really need to know, we learned from you, Mom. Your legacy lives on in us and in all who knew you. Every time we listen in order to understand someone, share a kind word, make a thoughtful gesture, consider another perspective, pause before responding, it's because of your influence, Mom.
You taught us how to love unconditionally, how to face challenges with courage, how to embrace life's joys with gratitude, to live with integrity, and to always approach life with the wonder and curiosity of a kindergartner. Thank you for your guidance. We wish we could have had you for longer. As my father also mentioned, our mother's Hebrew name is Bracha. She was and is, and may her memory remain a blessing to all of us.
I'd like to call up Esther, who's going to speak on behalf of the grandchildren.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of all of Bennett's grandchildren, I would just like to go over a couple things that we wanted to share with you that made our grandma special. Now, although Moshe isn't able to be with us here today, we know that his love for grandma is unmatched. Moshe always held a special place in grandma's heart. After all, he was the one who made grandma a grandma. And although he's in Israel, he was able to FaceTime her this past week and express his love for her. Recently, all us grandkids sat down and discussed what made grandma our perfect grandma. Of course, we brought up the wonderful food she would make for the family every year on Thanksgiving or Pesach or other various events. We discussed so many memories that if I were to list them all for you now, we would be here forever. When we got deeper into our conversation, we realized that not only did we hold similar memories, but the way she made us feel was also similar. The underlying theme was that despite her not being a teacher in a classroom anymore, she definitely spread her love of teaching in many positive ways. Grandma recognized that each one of us was unique in our own special way, and we all have memories of Grandma teaching us things that we would specifically be interested in, whether that be how to shuffle a deck of cards, or making the sweet potato pie with marshmallows, or learning to play piano, or even learning about Chinese architecture. She always made us feel special and included, and for that we will forever be grateful. We love you, Grandma.
There is a practice at the Levaya, the funeral service, of a great woman to recite the section of the end of Proverbs, Mishlei, chapter 31, the Eshet Chayil. In learning of your wife, your mother, your sister, your grandmother, this continuously came up in my mind, the various phrases that we recite customarily on Friday evenings. And it being Friday and this being an appropriate moment, I thought it was something that we should bring into the service today. Eshet Chayil mi imtza v'rachok mipinim michra. A gallant woman, who can find? Far beyond pearls is her worth. Batach balev bala v'shalal lo yachzar, yimalatu tov v'lo ra kol yimei chayeha. Her husband's heartfelt trust is in her, and he shall lack for nothing. She bestows good upon him and never harm all the days of her life. Darshat semer ufishtim vatas v'chefetz kapeha, hayta kaniot zocher mimerchak tavi lachma, atakom biod laila v'titin teref leveta v'chok l'naroteha. She seeks out wood, wool, and linen, and her hands work willingly. She was very crafty. She is like a merchant fleet bringing her sustenance from afar. She arises while it is yet night and gives provision to her household and direction to her maidens. She envisions a field and acquires it. From the fruit of her handiwork she plants a vineyard. With vigor she girds her loins and strengthens her arms. She discerns that her enterprise is good. Her lamp does not go out by night. Her hands she stretches out to the distaff, and her palms support the spindle. Kapa porsa la'ani v'yadeh shilcha levyon, lotira leveta mishale ki chol beta lavush shanim, marvadim asta la sheish vargaman levusha. She spreads out her palm to the poor and extends her hands to the destitute. She fears not snow for her household, for her entire household is clothed with scarlet wool. Fine covers she made herself, linen and purple wool are her clothing. Nodabash arim bala v'shifto im ziknei aretz. Prominent in the gates is her husband, as he sits with the elders of the land, no doubt due to her encouragement and support. Sadin asta vatimkar v'chagor natna laknani oz v'hadar levusha v'tischak liom acharon. She makes a cloak and sells it and deals a belt to the peddler. Strength and splendor are her raiment. She cheerfully awaits the last day. Pia potcha v'chochma v'torat chesed al lishona, Sophia halichot beita v'lechem hatzut lo tochel. Her mouth is open with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She oversees the ways of her household and partakes not of the bread of laziness. Kamu vaneha vayashruha, ba'ala vayahalala, rabot banot asu chayil va'at alit al kulana. Her children arise and praise her, her husband, and he lauds her. Many daughters have accomplished well, but you surpass them all. Sheker hachein vehevel hayofi shayirat Adonai hi tetalal, tinulami priyadeha v'yahalua bash'arim ma'aseha. Grace is false and beauty is vain. A woman in awe of God, she should be praised. Give her the fruits of her own hand, and let her deeds praise her in the gathering places. At the end of our discussions yesterday, something was said that really just stuck with me so strongly. You said after we went through all recollections of memories and thoughts and lessons that your mom, your wife, your sister, she didn't appear to you as a superhero, because that's just who she was. That's just who she was. She set the bar high and she matched it every time. So it was Benna. That's it. It was mommy, it was grandma. And she just was who she was. And now to look back and say, yeah, she was larger than life. She was that superhero to us. And she continues to be. And she will continue to be in our memories and in the messages and lessons that she taught us, in all that we need to know in life. I'd like to call upon Rabbi Chaim Greenwald to recite Mizmor Chaf Gimel.
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo achsar, binostesha yarbitzeni, almei menuchos yinahaleni, nafshi yishovev, yancheni b'maglei tzedek lema'an shemo. Gam ki elech begeit salmaves, lo ira ra ki ata imodi. Shiftecho mishantecha, hema yinachamuni. Ta'aroch lefonai shulchan neged sorurai. Tishantav Hashem en roshi, kosi rivaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti b'veis Adonai la'orech yamim.
I'd like to call upon Rabbi Jonathan Bienenfeld for the recitation of the Kel Maleh. Ask everyone to please rise.
Kel Maleh Rachamim shochein b'amhiramim Hamtzei menucha nechona al kanfei hashechina B'malos kedoshim utorim K'zohar harakia masirim Es nishmas b'racha bas naftali Shel chali olamah B'avur shenachnu mispalim ba'ad hazkaras nishmasah B'gan eden tei menuchasah Lachin bal harachamim yastireha B'seser k'nafav liolamim V'yitzror b'tzrach emes nishmasah Adonai hu nachlasah V'sanuach b'shalom al mishchavah V'nomar Amen.
In a moment, we'll continue with the procession. For those who are joining us for the interment, will be at New Montefiore Cemetery, 1180 Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. The Shiva visiting will be as follows. Today, just heading into Shabbat, the Shiva will be private. We'll begin Shiva visiting on Motzei Shabbos at the Barg Home, 37 Saddle Lane in Cherry Hill, from 9:45 to 11. Are you having also at your home? There'll also be Shiva visiting hours, same time, at 47 Beverly Road in White Plains. Sunday and Monday, their Shiva visiting will be, the family will be at the Barg Home, again, 37 Saddle Lane. Shachrit on Sunday morning will be at 9 a.m., different from what was sent out. We'll send out an update. And Mincha will be at 8:05 on Monday, Shachrit at 7:45, with Mincha again at 8:05. Tuesday and Wednesday, the Shiva will be at 47 Beverly Road in White Plains. Shachris will be at 7:15 with Mincha at 8:15. And Thursday morning, there will be Shachrit at 7:15 before the family gets up from Shiva.